Hello guys, welcome back to Mr. Rose's class. Today we are going to be talking about change over time, and we are going to be focusing on graphing with line graphs. So today I'm going to go ahead and introduce you with a video, and then we're going to talk about some key terms, and hopefully I'll be able to show you how I would create a graph. And then after that, we're going to practice at your home creating your graphs either on your tablet, computer, or on your notebook or a piece of paper. If your teachers have set up something for you to use on Canvas, you can also do that on Canvas. My class will be doing it on pencil and paper because that's the best way to do graphing right now before we actually learn how to do them very well on computer. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and start with a quick video. This video is from BrainPop Jr. I know a lot of you guys are probably over BrainPop Jr., but it is a very good video explaining what line graphs are and what change over time is. So let's go ahead and start the video.
I'm selling cookies to raise money for the soccer team. I've got one last box to sell. I'm keeping track of how many I've sold. I made a line graph. A line graph is a graph that uses points and lines to show data. You might use a pictograph or a bar graph to help you compare information about different groups. You might use a pie chart to compare parts of a whole. You use a line graph to track how a group or category changes over a period of time. What are the parts of a line graph? The title describes what is in the graph. My line graph tracks my cookie sales. An axis is a line that has numbers or categories and is used to create a graph. The x-axis is a horizontal line. That's the one that goes across. On my graph, it shows the days. The y-axis is a vertical line. That's the one that goes up and down. On my graph, it shows the number of boxes I sold. The points show how many boxes I sold on a specific day. How do you read a line graph? Graphs help us answer questions about data. How many boxes did I sell on Wednesday? To read a line graph, look at where the point lines up along the x-axis and y-axis. Look for the day of the week on the x-axis. Go up to the point and see where it lines up along the y-axis. I sold 7 boxes on Wednesday. How many did I sell on Thursday? I sold 5 boxes. When did I sell the most boxes? On Friday. You can tell easily because Friday's point is the highest on the line graph. Line graphs often track how something changes over time. They can help you see information in a different way. This shows how the size of the drama club has changed over the years. It shows the years on the x-axis and the number of members on the y-axis. Always pay attention to the scale on a graph. Not that kind of scale, Moby. The scale shows how numbers are organized on an axis. On this graph, the number starts at 15 and ends at 25. Graphs can use different scales. The numbers might go up by 5s or 10s, so it's important to look carefully. How many members did the club have in 2007? Look for the year on the x-axis. Then go up to the point and see where it lines up along the y-axis. There were 17 members. How many members were there in 2009? There were 20 members. Graphs can help you come up with ideas about the data. This graph shows that more and more students have joined the drama club over the years. The drama club has grown a lot since 2007. The school could use this information to give the club more money to put on plays. How can you make a line graph? Cool. You're selling lemonade to raise money for the soccer team? How much have you sold this week? You can use your chart to make a line graph. First, draw the x-axis and the y-axis and label each. Time is usually put on the x-axis. Add a title for your graph. Then choose a scale and figure out what numbers you want to put on the y-axis. Think about the smallest number and the highest number you will need to show. If the difference between them is a lot, you may want a scale that counts by fives, tens, or even hundreds. If the difference is small, you may want to choose a scale that counts by ones or twos. You need to show $2 and $20 on the same graph. You should probably use a scale that goes up by twos. Remember, you write a 0 in the place where the x-axis and y-axis meet. Do not write the 0 above it. Now find the points on your graph. On Monday, you earned $6. Look for Monday on the x-axis, and look for 6 on the y-axis. Then find a place where they meet and draw a point. On Tuesday, you earned $4. Look for Tuesday on the x-axis and 4 on the y-axis, and find where they meet. Keep going until you plot or draw all the points on your graph. Then use a ruler to draw straight lines that connect the points. Now you can use the graph to help you understand the data. You sold the least on Thursday, but on Friday you sold a lot more than the other days. Why do you think you sold so many more on that day? It looks like you are your best customer.
All right, so that video was very good at explaining a lot of the things that we're going to be working on with change over time and line graphs. So let's go ahead and go over some of the key vocabulary words that are going to help you in this lesson in lessons for the week. So the first term that we got to talk about is change over time. Change over time is a difference in data over a period of time. So on Monday, you might have collected $5 selling lemonades, but on Tuesday, you might have collected $10. So that change over time is from $5 to $10. From between Monday and Tuesday, the change of money was $5. Another term that we're going to be using a lot is called line graphs. A line graph is a graph that can be used to show data. It uses line plots. You create lines on the graph to show your information. The x-axis is the horizontal line, horizontal meaning the one that goes flat left to right. The y-axis is the vertical line, is the one that goes up and down, up and down. Data is information that you have gathered, and a scale is how you will show that data on the graph. So for example, when she was talking about what number she should use on the left-hand y-axis, she was talking about, well, you start with 2 and 20, start with 2 and end with 20, so maybe you should do by twos. So counting by twos is how you pick the scale. You can also do counting by ones, you can do counting by fives, you can do counting by tens. It all depends on the data that you have collected. So you have to make sure you are thinking about the data when you're creating your scale. So let's go ahead and go to the first word problem. And for this one, I want you guys to listen first, and then with me, you're going to be working on your graph. So Sarah planted a new plant in her front yard. This past weekend. She wants to know how much it grows each week. Every Saturday, she measures the plant and records its height. So off the bat, I already have a lot of information that I need to be thinking about when I'm creating my graph. So the first information is that she's trying to measure the height, right? The height of her plant, because she's saying how much it'll grow. So usually when plants grow, they grow upwards. So she's going to be measuring inches or feet eventually. Another thing that sticks out is that she's going to measure every Saturday. If I measure every Saturday, that means that I'm measuring weekly. So I know that my timetable is going to be every time I get data, it's going to be once a week. So here are the measurements so far. She, on the first Saturday, collected data of 3 inches tall. The second Saturday, she collected 5 inches tall. The third Saturday was 8 inches tall. And then the fourth Saturday was 10 inches tall. I'm sorry. And then the fifth Saturday was 13 inches tall. Now you're going to create a line graph that shows the growth of Sarah's plant over time. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to return back here to me. And if you see behind me, I have a little board that I'm going to be using. And if you can't really see at this time, teachers, you may pause and go ahead and go over with your students how to create this line graph, okay? But for my class, I will do it and I will show it to you guys on the board. So I'm gonna stand up. So let's go ahead and start talking about how we're going to create this graph. The first thing is I'm going to put my axis. So I'm gonna do my y-axis first, it's the vertical line, and then I'm going to do my x-axis right here. There you go. I already have what the skeleton of my graph. Then I'm going to make sure that I put 0 here. That's the origin right there, always right there, okay? I'm looking that the measurement starts with 3, it ends with 13. I could probably fit counting by ones. I can also probably get it in there counting by maybe twos. I'm gonna see if I can do ones first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can probably get a little bit more in here. 11. Okay, so I'm gonna have to redo this one again. Let me just go ahead and redo it really quick. So I'm gonna do a longer y-axis. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, and 0 here. And then on the bottom, I'm going to do my time. So this is time, and this is inches. Okay, so everybody see that right there? I know it's a little bit glary. I have this lamp right here. It's not very conducive. Let me see if I can, no, it doesn't help really. All right, so the first one is first Saturday. I'm gonna just put numbers. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna find your number, and you're going to go ahead and find 1, which is first Saturday, and you're gonna go find 3. So I'm going to go ahead and find that 3 and then the 1, and I'm gonna line them up right there. Boom. First one is done. Okay, first one is done. Then I'm going to find the next one, which is second Saturday is 5 inches. So I'm gonna go find 2, go up and put it right there on 5. Then I go to 3, which is 8 inches tall, and I line it up. 4 is 10 inches tall, so I'm gonna go find 10. I'm gonna try to make it as accurate as possible. And then, let me see, yeah, that's pretty good. And then 13 is the last one, so I'm gonna go to 13 on 5, right there. After you're done, you can line them up. Right? And that is my line plot for the size of this, of the growth of this plant, okay? So now, again, teachers, make sure that you share this with your students and try to do it with them, because obviously the glare from my lamp was not very conducive for learning. But let me go ahead and go back to the screen that I was sharing. So we're back over here. So again, the first Saturday was 3 inches tall, second Saturday was 5 inches tall, third Saturday was 8 inches tall, fourth Saturday was 10 inches tall, and then the fifth Saturday was 13 inches tall. So your line graph should be going upwards, okay? It should not be wiggly. It should not be going up and down, up and down. It should be going up the entire time. The slope of the line might go up a little bit higher once and then a little bit flatter on the other one, but it always should be going upwards. All right. So now, after you review this with your students, you are going to obviously create your table with your students in class. And then let's go ahead and talk about what scale is.
We asked 40 people about which sport they liked, and this is the data we have. 12 said football, 11 said tennis, and 7 people named a sport which did not belong to any of these 3 categories. We have been asked to represent this using a bar graph. So we draw the X and Y axis. We write the names of the sport on the X-axis and the number of people on the Y-axis. The 4 categories on the X-axis would be cricket, football, tennis, and other sports. Now we need to think of a suitable scale for the Y-axis. Let's assume we don't give it much thought and choose the scale as 1 centimeter equals 20 people. So we mark 20 here, then 40, and so on. The greatest number we have to cover is 12, which is why we don't need to mark more numbers on the Y-axis. 10 people said cricket. The height of the bar will be half of 20, approximately this tall. 12 people said football, so the bar will be slightly higher than the bar for cricket. 11 people said tennis, and 7 people named other sports. So this is the bar graph we get if we choose this scale. Now let's try to draw a bar graph for the same data using some other scale. We have the sport on the X-axis and the number of people on the Y-axis. This time, we choose a scale of 1 centimeter equal to 2 people on the Y-axis. We mark 2, 4, 6, and so on up to 12. This should cover all the data points we have. 10 people said cricket. We draw a bar up to 10. To represent 12 people who said football, we draw a bar up to 12. 11 for tennis, and 7 to represent other sports. Look at the 2 graphs and decide for yourself as to which one is better. The first one does not give us a clear picture for comparison. A casual look at the first graph would tell us that all 4 sports are liked by pretty much the same number of people. We cannot see the difference at all. But the second graph gives us a very clear picture that football is the most liked sport. It tells us that choosing the right scale is extremely important while drawing bar graphs. Else there's a chance that the graphs may not make sense.
So again, that is really important information for when you're creating your graph. Make sure that you're collecting data and using the correct scale, the scale that represents the data best, okay? So on that first one, you know, the bars were so tiny, they almost looked like they were exactly the same. On the next one, you could see the difference in heights, okay? So that is really important for you when you're choosing that scale. Make sure that you're using a scale that really represents the data that you have collected. So again, in your class now, you will create your graph and you will show it to your, share it with your classmates. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part. So on this part right here, you're going to be creating a graph. We're going to talk about it as a class. So in your classroom, teachers, you may pause the video, go ahead and do this activity. Again, this could be on Canvas or anything like that. So make sure that the students complete the graph, share, and go ahead and move on to the next part. So go ahead and pause. And then finally for today, your exit ticket is going to be right here. Your teachers will show you this on their presentation. So go ahead and complete the exit ticket, turn it in, and your teachers and your class will go over it. Good luck creating your graph plot. Good luck creating your graphs today, guys. I hope that you had a great lesson and you learned a lot about graphing. I especially enjoy graphing. I love making graphs. So this is going to be an amazing lesson. And I know that you guys are going to enjoy doing graphs also. This is Mr. Rosa signing off. All right, guys.